Two dads and a Chaz putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Two Dads and a Chaz pod, the Green Bay Packer pod with the dad bod. However, this pod is not meant for kids as we use foul language and borderline cancel speech. So if you got cheese in your veins, beer in your breath, and Packers in your heart, welcome home, ladies and gents. I am your host, Chaz, a.k.a. the Wisco Kid. But now it's time to introduce the dads of Two Dads and a Chaz pod. This dad can dance fight his way out of anything. Canoe trips, yoga lessons, taxes, birthdays, even weddings. Give it up for T-Bone.
Well, hello. I'm dancing in to see y'all. Thanks for coming out and talking Packers with us tonight.
I've never seen a guy as happy as this guy to watch the Vikings lose. And I got to say, I consider him one of the greats. This dad right here was literally crying. The bass with the mace. Give it up for Ty.
Chaz, dads, Packer fans worldwide. Yeah, the magic is back. I'm thrilled. It was a stupid exciting game. Can't wait to break it down. But man, initial thoughts on it was that was playoff magic. That was best football of the season, right on time. I'm loving it. And to do it against the Vikings, the hated Vikings, least favorite team, was awesome. So that was thrilling.
It brought a tear to my eye just watching you watch the game, buddy. This dad has the stats, the lats, and two of the cutest brats I've ever seen. Give it up for the porcelain prince, Aaron Mayhew.
Chaz, thank you as always. But boys, I would like to extend another thank you to two individuals. One of them is the quarterback, although it's the Washington Commanders, Carson Wentz. This dickhead threw 3 interceptions and tanked like we all fucking knew he would. But more importantly, head coach Ron Rivera for thinking it was a fucking smart decision in the first place. Gentlemen, I salute you both.
Ooh. I want to thank this guy for coming back 2 weeks in a row, not to mention being one of the best guests we've had, A, but B, watching that game and the pounding that we gave his team and still choosing to come back and spend some time with us. So for the second week in a row, here he is to set the record straight on behalf of the Minnesota Vikings. Let's hear it for Reesh.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Good to be back. Thanks for having me. I feel a little bruised and tattered. Previous discussion was a little more cheerful for me, but I'm here to take my medicine and bring some insight, and congrats on the win. Looking forward to diving into it.
Well, Reesh, since you are the guest, give us a little bit of your take on what you thought and what you saw.
Well, I thought this was a perfect example of what I call the 4 components to an embarrassing loss. Usually, if you have 1 or 2 of these components, you're going to lose. But if you have all 4, you are going to get taken to the woodshed, which is what happened. So, you look at the 4 components. You got special teams. You block a punt on the 1, and you can't get in. That's miserable. After that, you kick off, and they take it back for a touchdown. All right, that's horrible. And then you throw 2 missed field goals on top of it, and both missed field goals led to Green Bay Packers points on corresponding drives.
Ouch.
All in the first half. All right, so that component, check that box. You got your second component, which is turnovers. 4 turnovers, unacceptable. That's not going to work out. Penalties is along with turnovers. 3 false starts and 3 delay of games. Humiliating. Check that box. Then you got yourself the injuries. You got your second string center going down with a broken arm. Broken leg. So you got a third string center. People are clapping out there. People are moving. They're trying to get this guy to snap the ball. He doesn't. So you got that injury taking effect. And you got poor performance, right? Cousins, off day. Cook, 9 attempts, 27 yards. I think, Ty, you called that in the pregame, right? You said this game's going to be about Cook. Tyson, you said, I want to turn it into Delvin Cook, right? So you guys were right on point with that. And Mayhew, Jefferson was held in check, right? Worst day in his career. So you guys nailed it, man. All of you did. And, Chaz, you had mentioned that the team with the receivers that performs better is going to win. You all hit it out of the park. And then you got Hawkinson, right? I'm sitting here talking about Hawkinson, right? The guy's got 3 drops in the first quarter, including a freaking streak route that would have put us on the 20 after our special teams debacle. So, you got 4 boxes: special teams, turnovers, injuries, and poor performance. We checked them all in the first half, and it was a blowout, boys.
Excellent analysis, Reach. I think
Wow.
that I don't think anyone could break that down better without graphics. That was pretty incredible.
Pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Boys, any other thoughts, or did he fucking hit the nail on the head?
I agree. It was a shed beating completely what he was saying. But maybe what were you gonna say?
No, he managed to hit on pretty much everything impressively. I will say, like, the beginning of the game, defense comes out stout, gets it done. Offense comes out there, kind of shits the bed a little bit. I feel like it was another Aaron Rodgers kind of bumbling back, not getting rid of the ball on time. We get a blocked punt all the way down to the 1, and Reach, I was like, this is how it fucking goes. This is how
Exactly.
we fall
Yep.
apart. And then that defensive stand, I was losing my goddamn mind at home. I'm like, okay. And then from that point on, I don't know if I've ever watched a game where more things have gone my way and not the other team's way in my entire life. Luck was on our side that day, boys. I'm excited to break it all down here, but it felt like we took the will away from this team by the fucking second quarter, honestly.
Yeah, it was amazing to feel that momentum grasped and held on to and managed. It was really exciting to see us overcome blunders, because so many times in the LaFleur era, you get off to a rough start and you're like throwing the fucking controller against the wall and you're like, forget it, I don't even want to play anymore. I love where we're at right now as a team. It's like a slot machine that grandma plugged up full of money. Her whole retirement went in there and she didn't win shit. And now you just wander in and just put a thing, you're like, jackpot. Every time you put a coin in, you're getting jackpots, because we are due, God damn it. We are due for this team to find a way to be on time, maybe a little lucky once in a while, and make some big plays when they're right there. It was so bad for so long. It's like night and day. And I welcome this new world that we've been living in since December with the Green Bay Packers with open arms, because this is awesome. This is fucking what I'm talking about. This is why I started this podcast, God damn it, because this is the greatest team in all of sports, period. What was the question?
Here, ladies. You heard it. There wasn't any. There was just asking about initial thoughts. Ty, you got anything before I throw it over?
Man, I think that
choke up on that mic, baby.
I think the thing that one, I didn't realize how dinged up the Vikings were coming into this, but everything that we really needed to transpire in the first quarter happened. We needed to take the momentum. We needed Jair to shut down Jefferson, and kudos to the coaching staff for doing better than last time and realizing that just letting all the receivers run all over the field wherever they want, and that they could shift Jefferson to the other side. The manning up, man, by Jair was outstanding, and that was the early momentum builder, just like we were hoping for. And then from there, the plan just unfolded, but with some incredibly lucky breaks.
Gentlemen, I don't know what you guys were eating as far as cheese on that game, but I keep it up for the rest of the season. Just keep it up as we go into the second quarter here. Normally, I like to throw it to my main man for the PFF grades, but we're going to go back to a segment that we haven't had in a couple of games, and it is Turf Talk with Ty, because there was some shit talking going on after the game from some of these fans. Ty, take it away.
Oh, the beauty of the frozen tundra home field advantage was on full display on that turf. It was gorgeous. So we were all prepared for it. We saw the snow midweek. It was going to be a little soggy, so we wore the extra long spikes. and put in the extra spikes. But the turf itself, I can't believe how well it held up for the Packers. I mean, they were digging in, they were making their cuts. Jones looked comfortable out there, flying at top speed per usual. It didn't affect him at all. And that was like the most exciting thing to watch one team be able to handle the conditions of the frozen tundra and that team actually be the Packers, because that's not always the case. In seasons past, we've had trouble when the turf gets tricky. But all in all, I think it held up well. It shined as the 12th man, I think, this week, with just how it shut down everything they wanted to do. So I'm proud of the grounds, proud of Allen. Guys, keep it up. You are doing a bang up job.
I learned one thing about the Vikings. Their equipment manager is a fucking pansy. He was like, "Hey guys, just thought I'd tell you, it's gonna be a little wet out there." Like, "Shut up, Jerry! Shut the fuck up! I don't like one cleats. I'll wear what I want."
I think here's where I'm confused. They run through pregame warmups, guys. These guys are running routes, like whether it be light or like whatever for sure. Are you not like in that moment being like, oh shit, I should probably pop on those other cleats? You know what I mean? They're like, no. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's just get into game time. It'll fucking work itself out. Reesh, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I thought it was a sign of lack of maturity. It's slick. It's, as you said, Ty, it's been snowing. These guys know how to read Weather Channel. So do the scouts. So does the coaching staff. So does the equipment manager. They were told to wear long cleats, and they didn't. And so that would be a sign of immaturity and not paying attention to your surroundings, right? Kind of like a 16-year-old boy with a heart on. You know what I mean? And so you get yourself these situations where you're running dick strong, and you're not paying attention. And so they fell all over the field for 2 quarters, embarrassed themselves, and they're the 3rd youngest team in the NFL. It makes sense.
They also had played 5 indoor games at that point and had forgotten that football is something that is supposed to be played outside in winter.
Boom.
No, they're not bright. I just wanted to confirm that these guys are wearing sliders in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
They're wearing athletic fucking sandals outside of the airport. We're like, what's going on? Who didn't shovel? It's like, dude, it's fucking Minnesota. Aaron, what were you gonna say? Nothing.
I was you know what? Let's dive into some numbers here, boys. Some stats. It tells the game. We're gonna start off today with the Minnesota Vikings. Break this thing down a little bit here. So, Rishi, your quarterback was 18 of 31 for 205 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Quarterback rating of 49.2. Once again, Kirk Cousins gets under the bright lights and completely fucking shits his pants. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I didn't think.
Please don't interrupt me, Reesh. God damn it. We've talked about this. Moving on down to the rushing attack here. And you are spot on, man. Dalvin Cook and Madison, these motherfuckers look the same. Ever since Dalvin switched his number to 4 or whatever, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? But it doesn't matter because neither one of them are going fucking anywhere. We got Madison, 8 attempts for 38 yards. And then we got Kirk Cousins, 3 attempts for 37. Your quarterback actually outrushed your star running back by 10 yards, but I'm not here to throw shots. We move into the receiving category, and some dickheads caught some passes for touchdowns in garbage time. But the real important stat here is Justin Jefferson, 5 targets, 1 reception, 15 yards. Worst game of this young man's career. Andy, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Hey,
we don't have time. We're going to move over to the winners. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, an efficient day, 15 for 24 for 159 yards. If this wasn't a high school quarterback, I couldn't tell the difference, but the man managed the game, handed the ball off well. And then we move on to the rushing category where Aaron Jones, my big dick call of the day, brought the fucking heat, boys. Right from the first run, that guy had his fucking hair on fire. 14 attempts for 111 yards, doing the dirty work. AJ Dillon, 12 attempts for 41, grabbed a TD.
41.
And then moving down the receiving category, boys, it was just all the dirty work. Am I right, Ty? Allen Lazard, 5 receptions for 59 yards, making it look hard, but getting it done. Bobby Tonyan, almost forgot he was on the team. 3 catches, 52 yards, and a big TD. It was good to see that
big TD
flapping in the
Oh, bad.
But those are just numbers, boys. Those are just numbers. PFF is where things really get kind of broken down here. We're going to start
what do
off
they
with the
mean?
Packers, work our way back here with the positive here. Coming in at number 1, Mercedes Lewis, the big dog with a 90.7. Dominant as a run blocker. 17 run blocking snaps, 23 snaps overall. Crushing it. Aaron Jones, 77 overall. Runs for 10 yards, 5 first downs, earned a strong pass blocking grade. 7.9 yards per carry. Alan Lazard coming in at 72.7, caught 5 of 6 targets, made 1 contested catch, and created 4 first downs on 24 routes of run. Guys, Tyson, when we need a first down, are we not throwing in like the smallest fucking window possible to this guy?
Yeah, we're throwing in a guaranteed slant into triple coverage to a falling Alan Lazard. And it doesn't matter if he needs to fall, he's just going to roll and lay on his back. He's just like a turtle. When he catches the ball, he's just laying down. He's going to stay there. And at this point, he's just used to catching low slants. That's what he's here for.
Exactly, man. We roll into the defense here. Coming in at number 1, this one shocked me a little bit. Isaiah McDuffie, inside linebacker with a 90.8. Motherfucker produced 2 stops against the run over 12 snaps in the second half. I don't understand PFF math all the time, but the guy was efficient. Coming in at number 2 is our boy Kenny Clark. That motherfucker exploded off the line to start this game. He set the pace, in my opinion. Huge fan of that man that day. Rudy Ford coming in at number 3, 83.1. TJ Slayton. And, of course, Jair Alexander.
Hey.
Russian dreams on the field. I guess
Making dreams come true.
Aaron, I have a
Talk about the
question.
Vikings. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have information about Devontae Wyatt on there? How was he? Did I miss that? Did he have a high grade? I felt like he played
non-existent on either top or bottom. Yeah, just kind of right there in that sweet spot. Just kind of doing his job, but didn't want to be too flashy. You know what I
Do
mean?
they have any numbers about Quay doing like a WWE suplex on a guy on the field? Do they have any numbers on that?
No. If you guys want to go bottom 5 here, no, we shouldn't do that. Let's move on to the Vikings. Here real quick.
Okay.
Reach, as always, we start with a negative and we work our way up to the positive. On offense, center Chris Reed, who replaced that other guy. I can't pronounce his name. This guy's a third stringer coming in. And at one point they zoomed in on Kirk Cousins' face and he was screaming for this guy to snap the ball. They went in close on the center and I think he was cross-eyed and like looking. I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing. It was bad, dude. It was real bad.
One of my favorite moments was the opposite of that, when everybody moved except the center, who just held the ball.
He still is holding stance.
The whole play.
Guys, I don't think we're supposed to go yet.
Is it go time?
Guys, I don't think it's time
they didn't
yet.
even
Hang on.
they didn't even give him a number score. It just says should be cut. They
Right.
moved down the line here to a tight end named Johnny Munt. Who gives a shit? Right guard Ed Ingram. Just more offensive line troubles. We'll delve into that a little bit later. We move on to the defense. My favorite part of this whole show. So coming in at number 1 here is just more leftovers with Chandon Sullivan, 36.6 Rishi. It says here the secondary was overall decent as a whole, but Sullivan and Metellus were 2 obvious weak spots. In the slot, Sullivan was getting consistently beat on the inside, and Robert Tunyon torched him on the touchdown. But my favorite would be number 3, boys, outside linebacker Zadarius Smith, 42.5. Smith was a huge disappointment for the team, and after a dominant performance in week 1, he was a virtual non-factor against his former team and was held without a pressure for the first time all year. Chaz, back to you.
Oh my Lord, that's gotta hurt. Reesh. I mean, we gotta talk about and I'm telling you this right now, brace for impact. And I'm sure you're gonna have something for us. I don't know what, but best and worst plays of the game. I feel like I gotta start with you, bud.
Yeah, pretty obvious. The worst play of the game is when the center got hurt. And you referenced this Chris Reed. I mean, this guy, what a useless pile, man. I mean, he comes in. We got 3 false starts. We got 3 delay of games. I think the false starts were on the entire team. To Ty's point, everyone's moving but the center. Cousins is clapping at him, and the ball's never. I mean, what a disaster, right? So that's got to be certainly the worst situation. The best, quite frankly, had to be the block punt. They got to the ball. I don't know who number 6 is on the Packers, but you should all be begging him for an autograph, because if that guy doesn't tackle us at the 1. It's 7-0 Vikings, and the momentum
Wasn't that
looks a lot
McDonald?
different. What's that?
I think that was Quay. Are you sure it was?
Well, whoever
Sid?
that white
No,
kid was at
number
number 6,
6.
right? Yeah.
Number 6
Oh,
for the
punter.
Packers. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He's some scrawny
Yeah,
white guy as
7?
big as
It was
me.
probably 7. I think he meant 7.
No,
No,
look
he
it
meant
up.
6. It's like Leland. Who's
Cool.
that we brought him from the Raiders, Tyson? That was like Bisaccia guy for sure.
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
He looks like the
Efforting.
paper boy.
Levitt,
Yeah, Reish is absolutely right. Like,
Yeah.
he's like a special team gamer, man.
Dude,
Dallin,
he looks
Dallin
like the
Alan
paper
Levitt.
boy.
yeah,
Levitt.
from BYU.
Yeah, imagine that, a white guy from BYU. So, anyways, God bless the Mormons. But this number 6, you guys should be begging him for an autograph because he tackles a real athlete on the 1-yard line. And instead of 7-0, I'm dancing in your end zone and I'm feeling myself. You guys stuff us on the 1, take the momentum, return the kickoff for a touchdown. We miss a streak yard. We throw a pick 6. It's 14-3 before Aaron Rodgers steps back on the field.
Who needs offense? Who needs offense when everything
Exactly.
else like that is going right?
Guys, can we talk about that kick return real quick? There's like
Please.
my
Absolutely.
personal perspective.
For as
I
long as
feel
you
like
want.
I feel
Especially
like-
since it was the perfect angle that they finally had. They didn't have it 90 degrees where you watch him go, east west. You were looking right at him and you were like, juke that way, and then he was gone.
Chess. That's exactly what I was going to touch on. They're constantly trying to recreate the angles, and every time I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, it's perfected already. Like, you're out of your element. And then this one in particular was the most perfect. You watch it unfold, you see the hole, and my favorite part is like that last gasp of the punter pretending like he's going to try to tackle.
Yeah,
you know?
the dive.
And then it's just fucking to the house. What a fucking moment, man.
His first career touchdown in the NFL.
How about this, guys? This is like the first return touchdown we've had since Randall Cobb did it opening day against the Saints. I don't even know. It must have been in what, 2012?
2011. Yep.
2011. That's crazy, guys. That's got to be a record. Like, there's so many bad teams in this league that get kick returns every year. There's
The
so many
record-
good teams that get kick returns every year. How the fuck have we existed in this league that long and just not stumbled across one? I remember when the Patriots lineman almost got a touchdown against us, returning for a fucking touchdown. I don't understand it.
The record, I believe, was actually that it was we have not had a pick 6 and a punt return in the same game for rookies since the Ice Bowl, which was Super Bowl II against, was it the Raiders or no,
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Good
That's
year.
insane.
Good year.
Good year. Rishi.
If I may, what
Yeah,
was the
of course.
name of the guy that returned the touchdown?
The
Keyshawn
kick
Nixon.
returner? Yeah.
Nixon?
K9.
Okay.
Keyshawn Nixon.
All right, real quick. Nixon, this guy you need on the field. You need him in jet sweeps. You need him in drop down screens. You need him in H-back formation, wildcat. You need this guy on the field for 10 snaps a game. He's electric. He's a game changer.
You goddamn right he is. He also petitioned coach loudly and let the media know about how he's like, yeah, I asked to play slot. I want on offense. I want to play. This guy is like our Deion Sanders, and I want to fucking lean into it. We don't have a lot of guys that can back up talk on this team. Like, we got a couple right now that are actually getting it done.
Tyson, yeah, you stole. Only thing I wanted to add was that this guy was injured. Okay, after like last Sunday, and apparently like all week he didn't really like practice. Woke up Sunday morning and literally texted special teams coach and said, "I feel like a Ferrari today, coach. Got to fucking put me in." Like,
And you said that.
You can't
You
write
literally
this shit.
said that.
This is real. This is real.
I swear. And I mean, I will feel remiss if I just didn't say this, especially after Coach LaFleur kind of talked about it after the fact when we were sitting there at 56 yards, not knowing what to do. And he looks out there and Mason's already like, nah, I got this, bro. After not doing anything over 50 yards, hits a 56-yard dinger that goes, hits the fucking post and then bounces in. Holy shit balls.
Big dick day. Big dick day for me.
Just it.
Jazz, that was my number 2. Just for, like you said, the coach's words were like he trotted out there. And I mean, what are you going to do with like 4 seconds on the clock anyway? But just the way
Yeah.
that it went, like that was like that exclamation point on the half where we weren't going to fucking lose this game, you know? Reish, what did that feel like for you?
Well, I mean, it's like going to a funeral and getting kicked in the nuts in the urinal. I mean, you got You got this guy hasn't hit a 50-yarder all year. He looks like
Rental
he
clapping.
belongs in a nursing home. And he comes out and hits a 56-yarder. It hits off the post. It pops in the air for Mother Teresa to carry it over the line. I mean, give me a break. I mean, I love Mother Teresa, but fucking love the Viking fans back. But I'll tell you what, real quick on Mixon, I'd be really remiss. We missed a very important element here. He is related to Snoop Dogg. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm sipping the gin and juice all day with this guy.
Are you
I love
sure about
Snoop
that?
Dogg
What?
and I love Mixon.
Mayhew's got to do
That's
some research on
That
that.
of the day right there. Jesus
Hell
Christ.
yeah.
Is that true? How about that?
He's dropping Dre beats all over the Vikings for the rest of his career, and I'm rooting for him.
Damn.
Reese's dripping.
Way to pull that out, bud.
New
Yeah,
soundtrack.
digging into 23andMe. Now that's some research. That's good.
I do have to say, as far as worst plays of the game, the fact that the Vikings literally got caught with 10 guys on the field for a play and they didn't have all their guys up. I was literally going, what is happening? And you could see, like, they can't call timeout. They can't scream about it, like, but somebody's got to do something. And you even see Aaron Rodgers go like, hike.
That's when a cornerback needs to grab an ankle and just hit the deck. Just kind of grab whatever body part you can and just fall down. Maybe a ref will have some
Like a professional soccer player. Just
Yeah.
Stretcher.
I'm going to call this a negative play, but at the same time, I think it was fucking fantastic. But things weren't quite settled, like where I felt comfortable in this game. And when Quay Walker just completely body slammed the guy for like 15 yards, I'm like, dude,
That's my kind of penalty.
Right.
That's my kind
Yeah.
of penalty. If
Yes.
you're gonna get a penalty,
What did
do
you
it
say,
exactly
Ty?
like that.
Right. What did you say, Ty,
100%.
during the game?
the most acceptable kind of penalty there is sending a message loud and clear. It was worth every yard of that 15-yard penalty and then some. It was
Because what happened right after that?
that was
Interception.
Yeah, that was the interception.
worked in our favor. At the time,
I
I wasn't
believe-
loving it.
Well,
We
I
also
believe
had
that
one earlier in
was
the year too, where he were there on the sidelines and he like punched a guy in the throat like 10 yards out of bounds too. And he's like, "Wait, what? Oh,
Trying to help me up. Fuck that guy.
Kenny Clark with a big pull takeaway too. I was real happy about that, man. Real happy.
I mean, third string center. I mean, Kenny's eyeballs must have just lit up into dollar signs when he saw the second string center go down. He was just like, shh, he's like, my time.
Well, I mean,
It's
yeah,
the
he
best matchup he was going to have all season, and he took advantage of it.
I'm
Props to
gonna go
him.
snag those incentives real quick. Go ahead and go get them. All those stats.
yeah, it was
I need.
that center gave up 15 yards, not to mention 2 delay of games. Well, which I guess you could call that on the quarterback too, but yeah, tomato.
boys, I got to throw another one out there that's very, very obvious. But I've been dogging this guy all year for obvious reasons. I still think he's got a long way to go to be an elite safety in this league. But when a guy takes a fucking 75-yard house call, off an interception, Darnell Savage, man, the athleticism has never been in question. It's just his fucking head. And
Age.
maybe it's the coaching staff putting him in the right positions. I don't know, but my hat is off to him this week. He made some fucking plays.
He did. He also completely biffed that tackle, which gave them that touchdown late in the game that ran, but whatever. That's Savage, right? At least we're making, that's our defense also. Like we're gonna miss once in a while, but but Savage has been out. He's down on the bench a little bit,
I mean, at 41
due for some
41 to
failure
3,
before the success. Everybody else is ready.
Guys,
give
and I
a
actually
touchdown
love
or
that
2.
transition. I love that transition where let's start with the defense here, boys. Like it was a great game where I think everything kind of went our way. And anytime you get like 3-4 turnovers a game, like you better fucking win. Do you think once we get into playoffs and we're actually playing teams that are fucking dialed in when shit really matters, is this defense going to show up in the same fashion? I'm
Only
curious
when
to
our-
hear. Yeah.
Only when our back's against the wall. This team is a back against the wall kind of team. And I would like to believe that we're going to see this epic game of Uno that we watched last week was draw 2, draw 4, draw 2, reverse, skip, fuck you, you're done, Uno, over. Like that's pretty much what this game was. But when we play against, if we get to the playoffs, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We could get embarrassed against the Lions still. It's completely possible. But yeah, it's going to come down to us getting emotional early, and that usually happens after something really good or something really bad. And I don't think we were really riding the middle team at this point in the year. So I that's exciting football. But yeah, I don't know. I also can't tell you like well, okay, I can. The 49ers. But other than that, I can't tell you an NFC team that can just show up and outpace us. Like at this point, I think that we can match anybody's energy and get to the point.
That's where I'm at is a couple key factors on defense is energy and swagger. And it was palpable for the Packers for sure. This last Sunday with just I mean it was the motivation that kept that ball out of the end zone when they blocked that punt and had the ball on the one. It was just sheer tenacity. And if this defense can keep this, once you have it, you just ride it. And I think this defense can ride it for 5 more wins for sure.
I think momentum is a serious thing, definitely. I just wonder, like, you take away what the defense and special teams did this weekend, and it's a very different football game. You know, like our offense was, I thought it was decent in the first half, kinda, and then the second half, once we really fucking crushed their souls, we started pouring it out a little bit more with like the run game. And I play the pessimist a lot on this show, guys. I get it, but I mean, we're going to come up against some pretty serious adversaries starting next week, and I'm just curious how this team is going to react.
I love where our run game is at. I will just say that. I love what our run game is doing. I love where we're at in the year and our confidence within that. And it seems like that gives me confidence going into the playoffs that we can manage it with the run.
Hey, real quick on that run game of the Packers, you referenced earlier on the stats, Mayhew, 111 yards, right? 111. That's 3 ones. You forgot a very important fourth one, and that is he is the first runner to go over 100 yards on the Vikings this season. That run game is tuned up. They're reading gaps well, and they're committed to it. That's the most important thing. You guys are running RPOs, and you're handing it off. You're not chucking it around.
Reece, to expand on that, like defensive line and linebacking core, I feel like that's probably the strength of your defense. Honestly, I know the secondary is a little suspect, but
not to mention they have Harrison Smith, who's no joke most Sundays. He was a ghost this last Sunday, but there are some Sundays that man single-handedly can blow up an offensive plan.
Yeah, you referenced Tunyon as well, right? So anytime you get that strong run game, that tight end gets open over the seam. Safeties have to come down. Vikings play a bend but don't break, cover 2 shell. And so the reason they're pretty good against the run is teams don't waste their time running it. They can pick and choose that pass, right? We're last in the league in passing. But the Packers went inverse of that. They committed to the run, which Tyson was calling for. And quite frankly, it paid dividends because their offense wasn't great. But you know what they did? They didn't stitch the seam for us. They didn't stitch our wound. They didn't throw it around and turn it over. What they did is say, this team's got their foot up their ass today. Something's going on. They got blinders on. They're not paying attention. They're falling all over the place. Their players are injured. Let's just run the ball, punt, score touchdowns on special teams and defense. The offense is called complementary football. It was beautiful for the Packers, I thought.
I have a question, actually, since we're talking about defense. Did anybody notice in the second half, before like second and third stringers getting to put in, Delvin Cook really wasn't getting much yardage, but all of a sudden, and this was like 2 or 3 series, maybe even 4 in a row, the Packers could not stop the screen pass on the left side to Delvin Cook. And it just kept happening over and over and over. And I'm talking short dumps, like screen passes to the left. And 90% of the time it was Delvin. And I'm going, is it that we're playing their receiving core so hard, or is it just that we're getting lazy and we're not worried about losing at this point? And did anybody even notice that? Crickets across the board. Awesome.
Well, I can address that. I thought they were playing 3 deep at that point, cover zones. And so they were going to give you a dump down for 6 yards as long as they had 6 guys back to tackle you. They didn't care. Quick points are what are going to hurt you in a lead that substantial. And so, Chaz, my take on it was, hey, Vikings, you want to come down and take your sweet time with it. Your kicker's going to miss, or we're going to turn you over inside the 20 anyways. Go get them.
Yeah, I think at that point it was whether you're killing this clock or we're killing this clock. As long as this clock's dying, we're all good with it.
Yeah, right. We all just want to get out of here alive.
Boys, I did want to touch on the offensive line just a little bit for the Packers because going into week one, we were kind of in shambles here when we faced the Vikings the first time. Bakhtiari still on injury, Elton Jenkins still in injury. We kind of traipsed out like a fucking hodgepodge of like people from like a Walmart parking lot that seemed large and just kind of put them across the front line. And like Vikings had a field day on us, and it was really tough to watch. Now we get Bakhtiari back just this week. I feel like there's been some negativity from a few individuals on the show towards this man. I'm fucking blown away. This guy gets his goddamn appendix ripped out like 3 weeks ago. He consistently gives up no pressures, no sacks, wiggly leg, Bakhtiari on the left there, Tyson, just getting the fucking job done. And all of a sudden this offensive line is starting to come together at the right moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and shaky leg David is definitely getting it done. I'm impressed. He's definitely reached the Chad Clifton part of his career where you just like remove liquids and then replace them with other liquids, and somehow his knees magically work again for 48 hours. And I love it. I love where we're at right now with our offensive line in particular. Zach Tom playing any goddamn where we need him. Right. This guy played right tackle for the first time in his whole fucking career. And guess what? He fucking killed it, dominated, did a really great job. So like, I'm just really impressed with the flexibility that we've gained throughout this year, including rookies and including guys that we have to lean on from time to time. You know, you get a Royce Newman in there, it returns you back to understanding why issues existed early in the year. But you know how to work around that at this point. You know, like we know what we have on the offensive line. And I think that there's a lot of teams that are still figuring that out and hoping for luck. And I think we have a lot more data with an inconsistent year, particularly in the offense and defensive line. They're both playing lights out right now.
I got to say, I totally agree with that. And I'm super impressed with the way that Yash Nyman plays the air triangle. That touchdown celebration had me in stitches with AJ Dillon. That was pretty good. And I think that shows a lot of like fun and cohesion that this offensive line has now, because they're really looking like a group of guys that gel real well.
Like a jam band.
I liked Rodgers coming in slapping the bass. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Reesh, I got a random throw off here for you because I'm wondering, you got a first year coach, you know. I'm wondering what your thoughts are, like deep down about him in general, given that you guys are approaching the end of the year, and also wondering what your thoughts are of releasing Mike Zimmer, because everybody on this show fucking loves that guy as a defensive coordinator, but maybe I've never had him as a head coach. So you have 45 seconds.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. He's changed the culture there, which is really hard to be a culture change manager and a culture agent. The best thing about Kevin O'Connell is his first 4 minutes of the half, his last 4 minutes of the half, that's winning time. We're usually garbage in between. And he's really cleaned that up. You know, that's why we're winning a lot of one-score games. When we suck, we get blown out. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But when it's close, we win. Mike Zimmer, great defensive mind. But he's just like leftovers in your fridge, man. I love Mike. I'm a Mike Zimmer guy. But after a few years, or like they say, leftovers go bad in 3 days, house guests go bad in 3 days, coaches in the NFL go bad in about 7 years. It's time to move on.
House guests go bad in 3 days. That's a great. I haven't heard that one, but I agree with that.
Please don't tell Tyson that. I need a place to stay whenever I come to Wisconsin. Please do not start that shit.
All right, boys, I'm going to round you out real quick here before we take it to halftime. Ty, this one's going out to you. So for those of our listeners out there that aren't aware, Alan Lazard was actually fined $12,000 recently.
20. You got a big
for the block that he.
Big block here.
Here we go.
We talked about Tyler Davis, but again, the guy you mentioned it last week, and he's the offensive player of the week, voted by his teammates. That's why. I mean, he does all that dirty work, and then he's able to add up how many yards.
I love it.
Going downfield.
Look at that shit.
Three guys he blocks.
You see what I'm saying? This is why I love that.
For that?
He got fined.
The counting.
It might have been, honestly, because he counted off the 1, 2, 3. They're really chiming in on like the
He just should have counted faster. He would have gotten away with it. He did the WWF count. It's too slow. It's too showy. You gotta do a little faster. He would have been fine.
I thought that count was a reference to Christian Watson's 3-touchdown day when he counted them all off on his hand. And I thought Lazard was like, yeah, you get 3 touchdowns. I take out 3 dudes. And when I thought that was meant for the other receivers, like, hey, you're getting touchdowns. I'm knocking 3 guys out. Like, but
That is where he is elite, dude. You show me a better blocking wide receiver in football, and I'll watch that clip too because I'm impressed. Because
he blocks better. He blocks better than most tight ends.
Most. I don't understand how no one's approached him about potentially just playing tight end and being like the fastest tight end versus being the slowest wide receiver. But I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Whatever.
Let's end it right there. That's perfect, Tyson. That's perfect. Chaz, as always, I think we got to pay the bills. Am I right?
We do, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with the second half of Two Dads and a Chaz in just a minute. How do you beat your division rival that has a better record? How do you get a washed-up 38-year-old dinosaur to kick a 56-yard digger that bounces off the goalpost for the 3 points? I don't know, Chaz. How? You do it by sucking down on a big old can of Big Dick energy drink. Big Dick energy drinks. And they are made from all unnatural ingredients like sorghum, hydroxychloroquine, Viking tears, and our favorite, meat. Big Dick energy drink. The energy drink that goes hard in the paint. Welcome back to Two Dads and a Chaz, ladies and gentlemen. As we go into the third quarter here, we're going to do what we like to call taking off the Green Bay goggles, talking about a couple of different scenarios. Right now, it's going to be the NFC, which I'm going to throw to Reish. Let's hear what you think, bud.
Yeah, NFC is surprisingly wide open, to be frank. When you go into the playoffs, you're really looking at a few things. Who are the best teams? Who plays best at home? And who's hot? Those are really the only 3 things that are going to matter. No one else matters. So best teams, in my humble opinion, Philadelphia, Dallas, and the Niners. Okay. Dallas and Philly are going to duke it out, but whoever has to play the other team is not going to be happy about it in the first round. Who's best at home? Pretty much the same quorum, except you got to throw the Vikings in. Vikings are real tough at home. No one wants to go there.
Because it's heated and 72 degrees.
Period.
And loud as shit.
That sounds brutal.
Horn.
It is. And the center who's never played a frickin' snap, the 3rd string center, who by the way is going to be our center the rest of the year, who we've already beat that kid up enough.
Cross-eyed Billy.
Defense,
Clearly, it's not going to bother. Clearly, it's not going to bother him. This guy's obviously deaf, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, he's
Can't hear
never
a
played a
fucking
snap.
thing.
He's never played a snap. Now he's at Lambeau getting shouted at. He can't hear someone clapping. But anyway, so they can hear the snap count. Yeah. So, but he might be deaf. Fair point.
And who's hot? You had 3 points, and who's hot
so
in the
who's
NFC
hot?
going into this?
Ty, thank you for that. Who's hot is the Green Bay Packers. The Niners were hot, and they still are smoldering, but they're not on that huge win streak. So I like the Packers as a surprise team, and quite frankly, as I look at it as a Viking fan, right, that's kind of my slant, my goggles, if you will. I don't want to play the Packers. I'd much rather see the Giants again come to my house. And quite frankly, as you look at the playoffs in the NFC, you guys had said there's not one team that scares me outside of the Niners. You guys should be scared of Philly as well. Philly's D-line and offensive line will make you cry. They will break you down, and a mobile quarterback is scary in the playoffs, and the Packers don't do well against mobile quarterbacks. So
I don't want
Yeah,
to.
Reese, that would be like the understatement of the century. Like a running quarterback is our fucking kryptonite on so many levels. And I think that extends over to the New York Giants where Daniel Jones, dude, they're doing the same thing they did in Buffalo with fucking Allen. Like this guy can sling the ball a little bit, but he just fucking takes off and runs for like 95 yards a game. We have not found a way to combat that as of yet. So Joe Barry, I hope you're fucking staying up at night thinking of something.
We did hang in there tough with the Eagles in our regular season meeting, and I'm not. We're no punks. We've got a plan for them. They didn't school us by any means. There was a controlled win, but we fought them hard, and I think we've got a good feel for who they are. And I think we're a little hotter than they are. I think they're cooling off a little. They may have peaked too soon. We'll see. But there's a lot of teams out there who I'm not afraid of anymore because I've seen the change in the Packers. And it's when you're the world champion, play like it.
I think what's interesting, Ty, like we've played a majority of these teams too. Like you said, we've got a feel for them. Maybe we came out with the L the first time around, but I love coming back that next time, knowing your opponent, coming in hot. I mean, that's what happened to us guys in 2010 too. I mean, anything's fucking possible.
We know who the Giants are. The Giants have no idea who we are. Like, because we're a different team than we were in week 3, 4. So, I mean, there's no game planning from the previous experience on the other side of the ball. But I think the Packers, the Giants have been the Giants, and the Cowboys have been the Cowboys for the most part. So,
And although we had some bad games this year, and statistically it might not be, I just felt like we never were flatter than in that Giants game. That was probably where our team had the least amount of energy I've ever seen the Packers play with. So that's an understatement. They definitely. I'm curious to see if they end up matching up against the Vikings. That'd be an interesting matchup in my mind. With their cover 2 zone, cookie cutter bullshit defensive strategy. I mean, they could make the Giants look pretty good. It could be a good matchup actually.
Well, as we move into more of the third quarter, we're going to go with a segment we call Wild Accusations. Hit me with it, Tyson.
Well, it's not like what they write. It's just like what you see and how you kind of figure it out, right? So Rodgers in the last press conference, I don't know if you noticed, the man got a haircut. The hair has been cut. It is short. He looks good. He's got some product in there. It looks wet when it's dry. It's a really exciting change for our whole team as a dynamic. I think it says a lot for him and his energy beliefs. Also, he was definitely wearing a woman's yoga shirt. I'm pretty sure that was what that was. It was like a pastel blue woman's yoga shirt with a very low cut in the press conference. And it seems like he has found his timing not only on the field and with the wide receivers, but also in his speech patterns. At this point, I feel like he's ready for a book on tape, and I feel like it's in the works. So I hope we're gonna get Aaron Rodgers author after his game of football. I just think that's where we're gonna go. It's not a wild accusation. It's just something I'm seeing. The breadcrumbs are laid down right in front of me. I'm just gonna eat them, and I think he's gonna write books on yoga.
I think you're right. Like a nice cardigan, and like he'll grow that beard out, and it's like a new age Mr. Rogers kind of feel almost,
And people will care less and less every year until he's just, we have to talk about him, and they're like, oh, he's gonna talk about the books again. All right.
Tyson, you're in the right neighborhood, but you're at the wrong house. This guy's going reality TV show.
Fucking one-liner.
He's not going book. He's going reality TV show. It's a thing.
No way.
Record it. Record this moment because I might want some royalties. You know what
I will remember this moment, Reese, for when he joins as the host of Survivor season 30. I'll be like, he fucking called it, bro.
Or when he starts wearing a cardigan and like only does all sports interviews and only talks about his recent novel that he wrote, and then I'll be right, and then everyone knows my beer because I'm thirsty.
When he joins the cast of The View, which my dad will be all about, it'll be Reese that called it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to move into the fourth quarter with a fun segment we like to call What Grinds Your Gears? Now, Mayhew, would you mind telling me what grinds your gears?
I would love to, Chaz. I would love to, Chaz. And you know what it is? For me, it's mail delivery in the year 2023. Let's break this down. Okay, we're all humans. We all like live in the same fucking world, right? I go out to my mailbox the other day and like, look, I'm a busy man. I got kids. I got a family. I'm a fucking dad. This mailbox is so jammed full of mail. Like I guarantee the mailman, he's pissed at me and I don't blame him. But I pull it all out and dude, the shit is like falling into the snow. I'm like, oh my God, I got to bring this inside. This is mail. This is important, right? 99% of it is just fucking trash. Okay. In a planet where like we're talking about recycling, we talk about not wasting, we talk about paper. I am literally taking everything they've given me and putting it right in the trash. Like fucking Valpak. What is this fucking company sending me a bunch of coupons and nonsense for shit that I'm never going to use this. You are wasting your time. How do you fucking sleep at night? Kind of a situation, right? You know, and even worse is that now we have mail delivery. They're working on the weekends. It used to be like a Monday through Friday gig. These poor saps are coming in Saturday, Sunday, and then the snow people are fucking jamming the snow up right in front of my mailbox. I do what I can, but they got to get out of their fucking vehicle, whatever you want to call it. And I feel terrible. I feel terrible. And it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? It's 2023. Can we email this shit? Like, I'm not getting anything vital, nothing important.
You can go paperless, you know.
I do on everything I can.
Okay.
This stuff just shows up. The
With
middle
the Valpak, you don't get a choice.
Why do you manage your Valpak
Valpak
account, Aaron?
continues to show up over and over. And I don't know who these fucking six sons of bitches are, but it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And that's just what grinds my gears, Chad.
We live in a building, and so everybody just throws their crap into a big bin, a recycle bin, and this recycle bin fills up in 2 or 3 days. But I tell you what, I want for no coupon ever. Anytime I'm making any purchase, I'm like, I'm gonna swing by the recycle bin down here. There's gotta be something, and sure enough, it's half price. It's a gift that I like. I'm with you that this is wasteful and terrible, but boy, it's clutch too.
I imagine the guy walking in and be like, yeah, there's Rutherford B. Hayes over there digging in the fucking trash bin again. What's that guy?
Well, I'm happy to announce from someone who is the sales director for Valpak in the state of Wisconsin and mails millions of pieces every month all over the country. I'm happy to announce I have solutions for you, Mayhew. Send me your address. We'll get you removed. No problem. Also, you should look
You
up.
know your background. You're gonna get so much trash delivered to your house, Aaron.
Yeah.
They're gonna back up
Double Valpaks now.
Well, that might be
he's gonna throw it in my
secretly
front
what's
yard
happening,
like him and his
okay?
dad did back
He might
in
get a first-class FedEx
1995.
package from me. But hey, Ty, send me your address. I'll get you more coupons, brother.
Yeah,
Take
I
care.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
Aaron.
telling you.
If you could tell everybody what your address is via this podcast,
No,
that would be really great.
text
Real
it to
quick.
me.
What is it?
Text.
Everybody is now dead to me for the next 5 minutes.
Well, during
Hey,
those 5
hey,
minutes
hey,
of dead time,
hey,
I got to
hey,
send a
hey.
what grinds my gears to my main man Tyson over here, who's jumping on the hay train.
Hey, you know what grinds my gears?
You thought I forgot you, didn't you?
You want to know what grinds my gears, do you? You go to the grocery store, you're looking for a little snack, you got the sun, you're like, grab a little snack here. Oh, I'll grab some chips. What do we got? Oh, we got flaming hot Doritos, we got flaming hot Cheetos, we got flaming hot fucking Starburst. But why are they flaming everything? What the fuck's going on? Who's in charge? Why are they gotta put flames on every fucking goddamn thing? Why are we flaming everything? What the fuck's going on? When will it end? When can I just buy a bag of chips and not have to check if it's going to taste like some kind of toxic thing that if my kid rubs its eye, I got to go to the fucking emergency room? What the fuck is this shit? Who came up with this? Whose idea was this to flame stop flaming shit? Just stop. Just stop. But grinds my gears.
Fair point.
Flaming hot Starburst. That was, yeah.
It's a thing.
Oh man, where do you go from there other than to the 2-minute warning, my friends? First of all, has anybody got anything left in the glass? Anything else they want to share or talk about before we talk about final scores and Packer moments?
I do. Real quick, Rishi, you're familiar with DVOA, right?
No.
What about DOVA?
No.
What about the
Awesome.
band Devo?
So this is yet another tracking system within the NFL that basically compiles all information of who you're facing, points, defense, all that stuff. And all I want to point out real quickly was that over the course of the winning streak for the Packers, we now have the best special team ranking in the entire fucking league over the past 4 weeks, which is sometimes astounding given that like we have like blocked punts and like these little blunders, but I think it's like more of the little stuff that's happening. Obviously kickoff return touchdowns go a long way, but for a special teams that was fucking just atrocious a year ago, I got a little nod to Rich Bisaccia.
Oh, big nod. Are you kidding me? We were a team that could not do anything but lose momentum and just break your heart when it was time to lean on special teams or you had to deal with them. At this point, we have been building momentum towards something more stable that's a consistent contributor. It has at this point allowed us to stop talking about how Aaron Rodgers might be showing some serious decline here this year, and we are now talking about how this team is a playoff super threat because we are a balanced, three-armed giant with all three aspects of our team, throwing it down. So Rich Bisaccia, I think, is an energy coach on a team that doesn't have a lot of those. And I really appreciate what he's bringing to our team and bringing to our, I think it's kind of the backbone of this rise. And I've been in love with him since he came in here. I like it.
Yeah, he looks crazy as fuck, and we need a little bit of that.
That's what I like
on this
I'm into
team.
that.
You know what I mean?
My kind of guy.
One other quick little thing too. T-Bone, Dean Lowry got moved to IR 3 weeks ago, and we've been skipping over it ever since. But I tell you what, the defensive line has not missed a beat, and if anything, it's only improved. Ty, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I like the Wyatt Slayton rookies. They're ending their first year. It's hard to call them rookies once they get to the postseason because they have had a season of experience. And Slayton, especially, just the ruthlessness that he can tackle with and just make it look easy is a special thing.
Yeah, Slayton's in his second year, and he's showing it at this point. He has definitely come a long way from when he first was starting. And also, Devontae Wyatt, I just love that he's on the field. I love the energy and the push that we're getting with those three because that's something we usually don't use those guys for. They're just usually taking up blocks.
I think what we're noticing is great teams take on the personality of their head coach, but they also take on the personality of their best players. And the Packers defense is taking on the personality of Kenny Clark. Mayhew, you called it earlier. I thought he's the tone setter on the line, but he also took on the personality of the big dick player of the game, as Ty correctly predicted, which was Jair Alexander, right? That guy loves to talk shit. He doesn't care what you think about him. He talks shit when he's down 53-0, and he talks shit when he's up 40-3. He doesn't care. He's talking. He's coming at you full speed, and you're seeing some of those young players take on that personality. And as a team develops a personality and starts to peak, you guys are the hottest team in the NFL, you start to see the fruits of that, right? And what you're seeing now is what the Packers are, not what they were in week 6.
I've never loved and hated anybody more in my entire life than my good friend Andy Reich. Thank you, sir. As always.
Well, folks, we got to talk a little bit about score recap from last week. And I got to tell you, I've been waiting for this one for a minute. I've been waiting because when the score got to 41-3, I had a fun realization that for the first time all season, I was the closest to calling it at 97-2. Woo! Unfortunately, they scored twice after that, and I was not the closest, but I'm going to take it. The fact that the Packers got to 41 points is already an amazing accomplishment for me, especially to have it be against our division leaders. We have to talk about score for next week. Reesh, any thoughts you think, buddy?
Yeah, hottest team in the NFL playing at home in a must-win game. I think you're silly if you don't go with the Packers as an outsider, right? I don't have a lens. The wall is green behind me because I'm your Viking insider. And when I lose, your flagship color goes on the wall. When I win, it's purple.
Damn.
All right. So that's how that's green. But the reality is this. In terms of Detroit, they're much better than you think. Their coach is a no bullshit kind of guy. I'm going to break your kneecaps. It's good for us to get kicked in the face. They're not going to be intimidated, and they're going to play
Bites
well.
him. Bites
They're
the
going to play
nut
really
dogs.
well. It's going to be 31-28. Mason Crosby kicks a 40-plus yarder to win it.
Oh, I like that prediction.
And I want to throw a little bit of the voodoo that you do so well segment. Tyson, let's hear a little something.
Listen, guys, it's unavoidable what just happened. Okay, we all were here. I asked you to do one simple thing, just simply cheese up on D, and oh my God, look at what has happened to our defense in 2 weeks. Your commitment to cheese up on D is evident in the Packers' performance, but I'm going to need more from you, okay? Whatever you're doing last week, I need you to mimic, but at the same time, save it, because this is not going to be the same game as last week. Now, you were probably just eating cheese for fun by the end of that game. You need to think about this game. If it's close, we're saving them for third downs. We're saving it for situations where it's feeling like you're feeling a turnover come on, and you got to get the whole group involved. So cheese up on D is a lifestyle, it's a commitment, and I appreciate everybody's input because it's evident. We got to kick off for a touchdown, guys. That's crazy. That doesn't happen. That's cheese up on D.
Well, we're also going to move into our last segment, but it's not going to be from anybody you think it's going to be from. We want to hear a favorite Packer moment from our guest. Let's hear it from you, Shorzy.
Yeah. So you asked me in the pregame of a good, kind of Viking Packer moment, and we touched on one. There's one in person that I thought of when I got off. So there was a year the Vikings and Packers were not good. And the Packers specifically were better, but the Vikings were terrible. Okay, we're like an 8-8 team with a third-string quarterback, and it was like 20 below zero at Lambeau one of those days. So we're standing around a grill. I was with Teddy, one of your past guests. Mayhew, I might have been with you too. I can't remember who was all at this game.
I was there.
Yeah, Seafelt was there too. So anyways, we had a guy from Chicago and Mayhew and Ted and I, and it was so freaking bone-chilling cold that we just decided to get sloshed. So we're getting drunk around a grill. There's nothing cooking. Yeah, there's nothing cooking. We're just standing there, okay, for warmth. And we go in, and the Vikings with their third-string quarterback. No, we had our starter, Christian Ponder. We took a 13-0 lead at halftime. The Packers had like 12 yards. And so Ted was hammered. And he's like, I'm going to the car to take a nap. This game's over. Well, anyway, the Packers storm back. And it gets to overtime. Now, the only thing that all these people didn't want to do, Viking or Packer, was be in this weather. And the game goes to overtime. Okay? Now, this was the 15-minute overtime with commercials. This was not today's modern 10-minute overtime. They can't wait to get you out of it. It was so bone-chilling cold, man. I still remember my feet being like ice. And both teams, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt, commercial, 3-and-out punt, commercial, my beer's frozen, commercial, cheese is frozen on my pretzel, commercial. It was miserable. And we get to the end, and the Vikings have a kick to win this horrid fucking game. And they shank it left. The clock's at 0, and it's tied. It's a tie. We just spent 4.5 hours, 20 below 0 to watch a tie. And we're so drunk we could barely walk. Ted's well rested in the car laughing. He was listening to Larry. And anyway, it was a great memory. It's a great one I'd like to erase.
Hi. That's a great one. Give it up for our guests this week again, boys. Yes. Thanks for coming by, Reesh. I also want to throw it up to all of our guests we had this season. Buddy, Caitlin, Green Man, Eric Bearsfin, Teddy, Reesh. We are doing yet again a 2-episode game again, because every game right now for the Packers is kind of like the Super Bowl. We don't know if there's going to be more. Remember to click and subscribe. We will have another guest tomorrow. This will be out early morning for your viewing and listening pleasure. We like to end the podcast with a hashtag every week, though. And this week's hashtag on a 3, 2, 1 will be Classic Vikings Choke. A 3, a 2, a 1, hashtag Classic
Classic
Vikings.
Go back, go.
Two dads and a chance, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz talking Green Bay Packers football.
We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top.
So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.